So here we go, game 2 of this series between Reason and Excellent. Game 1's up if you'd like to see it. Getting into the replay. Second late I had let it run for a bit and then had to do some other stuff real fast. So auto skip pause is turned on. I actually remembered for once, so yay. If you're proud of not having to see that console anymore, I really hope you don't care about that kind of thing. Because that would be a little weird to care about. So, bans then. We can talk about those while we do these picks. Grinix, Pestilence, Ophelia, and Kraken. So, Grinix once again banned out. Lots of Grinix bans, lots of Ophelia bans for that matter. Actually, interesting that Oath gets banned by the Legion side and Pestilence gets banned by the Hellborn side. So, these teams realize that they have picks, right? Because, like, it seems like Ophelia gets banned. Don't want to let them get first pick Ophelia, but then you could just pick it. But clearly they're not interested in doing that over there on Reason, and xCet is not willing to let them get Pesty first, which apparently they would pick, so. I would assume there's some research going out there. It's just kind of funny to see them do the same types of bans when they're on the other side, because you'd think, oh, you know, I want that hero. Like, I'm banning it because it's good, and I don't want the other team to get it, but if I have the chance to pick it up, then I will, so I won't ban it, so. Anyway. Pretty solid, though. Obviously, heroes that are quite powerful. There's some suicide emphasis with both Kraken and Grinix, the jungle Ophelia, and then just Pesty, who is all around great. Great initiation, has some pretty solid care potential as well, and does extremely well when paired in that mid with a partner. So, final stages of the first picking stage here are coming to an end. NG Keeper, so far here from Reason. I'm expecting to see, honestly, from them, I'm sort of expecting to see another support. Maybe not here, but it seems like they just don't run that many junglers, and I don't know why. Tempest is available. I'd really like to see that pick here. NG Tempest Keeper, so much ulti synergy, amazing push. It's just so difficult to deal with those guys, especially considering the other team has a War Beast. You know, that hero's big problem, obviously, is you can't lock him down, and NG Field's not going to help too much with that, but Root will, and so will Nebus Ultimate, so, you know, adding more ways to prevent War Beast from being able to use his mobility would be a good idea. Moon Queen's not going to help too much with that. She will do a ton of damage, but, of course, with Keeper Ultimate, that's what you need to lock him down, really, so. I guess, but that's not going to be enough, and I feel like they really should have a little more in that vein. But on the Hellborn side, Warbeast, Ravener, and Gemini, so 3 melee heroes coming out. That's pretty surprising, so I expect both of these last two to be ranged. Obviously one support in the middle, likely for Ravener, and, well, possibly a jungler, but more likely now, actually, second support, as I think all the junglers will be banned out here by Reason. It's possible, of course, they run that Keeper in the jungle. They have tended not to do that so much, so we'll see. Actually, it's both Tempest and Parasite make it through the banning stage, and I have to imagine xCet's going to pick up a jungler here just because they do run junglers, and Pew, I believe, likes to run a jungler when possible. And I'm less sure on Reason's side. Of course, you know, we still have that Keepers, could still be running the jungle role, but we've actually seen Zane solo short that Keeper. And suicide him for that matter, but I don't really get it. I don't know why you'd run a solo short Keeper. I don't know why you'd give up that jungle presence when you can have it. Tempest once again going to be passed up. Bubbles is a pretty great pick, not just because he's good at locking down that War Beast, especially before he gets a shrunken head, but because Bubbles, when paired to the War Beast, can be a serious problem. Of course, one of War Beast's issues is he has all that attack speed and damage and movement speed, but he doesn't have a stun, he doesn't have a slow, so he's good at chasing people, but they will also run away from him very quickly, which allows the other team to get back up in, or will just occasionally allow them to get away. Kelpfield pretty much mitigates that problem and allows Warbeast to just destroy people, you know, whether it's in a gang type situation, just on a 1 or 2, or in a team fight if you can get that Kelpfield on a 3 or 4, maybe even 5. They're not able to spread out and run away, and Warbeast can just sit in there and just right-click people to death. So I like that, both as a counter to Warbeast and taking away that hero from xCet, and I think they were probably looking at first picking that if they were able to. Maybe they weren't, you know, for that matter, probably going to be Warbeast's Suicide, so maybe they wouldn't have had a place for Bubbles. Now that I'm thinking that, that would have been a very stupid pick because, of course, you can't run Bubble support, and then you would have had to run a support Bubbles, or a support Gemini, or a support Rev, or a support Warbeast, and none of those would have been good options. So I kind of feel stupid now for saying that, but certainly still a good hero for the Reason side, as there's a lot of ulti synergy here with Keltfield and Root and NG ult keeping everybody in place for Moon Queen to just press R and deal something like, what, 2100 magic damage or something for the ult, which is just ridiculous. Honestly, I love Moon Queen. She's a great hero. I enjoy playing her, but she needs a nerf. It's just you can't put base 320 movement speed and a relatively lengthy stun on an extremely long range ability with relatively low mana cost, considering the mana pool she starts with. On top of the amount of farming potential she has, on top of the amount of carry potential she has, and the synergy between her nuke and her ultimate, just the amount of damage she can do in a team fight with it, the amount of damage she can do to a single target burst. It just seems like it's too much. I think one thing they might look to do is increase the duration between each moonbeam during her ultimate. Make it so she's a little less bursty. I don't really feel like that's the point of that hero. That she should be able to kill something, you know, in a couple of seconds if she manages to catch it alone and press R. But we'll see. You know, she has the short range issue, but not that short. New Wingbow actually helps with that a little bit if she's able to get it. Haha, pause, I will defeat you. But, you know, it's just such a damn powerful hero, and, in my opinion, ripe for some nerfs. Anyway, the Parasite will be the last pick on the Hellborn as Tempest gets picked up by the Legion side, so Reason finally going to run a jungler. It took them this long, and it took them till their last pick to grab that Tempest, and I've been harping for it. So, yeah, good. I like it, obviously. So you want to talk wombo combos? They got some wombo combos here. Really, all 5 ultimates. What am I saying? 3. 5 ultimates that have strong team fight ability and will just destroy the opposing team if they manage to get caught out. Of course, portal keys are going to be extremely important, particularly on Keeper, very possibly on Engineer as well. Although I don't expect NG to ever actually get one unless this game goes for like an hour, because he just probably won't have the farm. He'll be too busy as the solo warrior. Won't be able to find the space with 4 heroes on his team looking for spaces to farm. It's just difficult to both, you know, get the farm in that situation, as well as, you know, have the money to spend on a portal key as opposed to some wards. So I don't really expect that to happen, but we'll see. Maybe he can get that. As they're really trying here to prevent the pull, and they're going to do it. That Hellhound's going to die. So lots of mana used by pretty much everybody, including Tempest. Honestly, I would have preferred he goes back to base, because he's going to have some serious mana issues at this point. 3 mana pots left. That will be enough if he is careful about how he uses his mana and careful about how he jungles. But he is going to need the courier relatively early. That's going to delay the bottles coming out for Bubbles and the Suicide Keeper, who I will assume will get one. Who knows? Bot lane shaping up in pretty obvious ways. Moon Queen is bot with this support Engineer. Bubbles is middle, and Keeper is Suicide. Obviously, the Bubble Suicide has some potential, but much better to run Keeper as a Suicide, because Keeper doesn't do too well in the middle. Doesn't really need it. Luna taking a lot of auto attack damage there. If she takes a couple more hits, she'll die. There's a health bot. That's very good. Gonna be cancelled though with the Shell Syrup. And now Bubbles is actually out of mana. Power Throw actually gonna miss, I believe, as his hit cover went off. And Aluna needs to be, yeah, super careful. Because Bubbles now, at least he's gonna need 4, because I assume he's gonna take level 2 Shell Syrup here. But a lot of harassment coming out. Aluna's mana pot actually gets knocked off. Meanwhile, on bot, Warbeast is in some trouble. Engineer coming in from the side. Glacial Blasts are available on Tempest. He's going to find the angle at some point, and Warbeast is basically just screwed here. Eats the tree, trying to get away. Moonbeam going to come out in a second as they get a vision. There it is. Where's the Glacial Blast? Not available. There's the keg, though. And lots of trouble here, and KZ's going to fall. So, Emma Boy gets that Bloodlust. The very last hero you want to get a Bloodlust on is Moon Queen. Just you know, anything you can do to prevent that snowball, you want to do it. And that's not going to do it. Because Moon Queen will snowball fast, and she will snowball hard if she gets some early farm. Now she's sitting at 400 gold per minute, doing decently on CS. 6 and 8, so really strong on the denies, making sure Warbeast does not get a lot of last hits. These wolves, of course, coming out doing plenty of harassment, so that's going to be a bit annoying, but she will be able to live through that just fine. So deny there from Keizu, that creeper lived for a long time with very little health. But Imba Boy certainly taking control of this lane. Keizu at 4 and 1, and he's at 6 and 9 over here in the middle. Bubbles again putting harass down, and now he's going to take both stuns, and that's going to be his death. So lots of harass there onto a Luna, but not quite enough to get her low enough to kill, as she is able to set up the stun onto him. Nice Emerald stun, Emerald Lightning stun into the Ball Lightning. That's actually one problem. The level 1 of Take Cover is so short, and Ball Lightning is so slow, that even if you take cover it to begin with, when you come back out, it'll still hit you. Because it takes, I believe it takes longer than the 0.25 seconds or whatever it is. It's really hard to read this damn thing. Uh, 0.5 seconds, sorry, excuse me. Finally, god damn it. It's because there's this dark green text on top of dark green. It's extremely annoying. So I believe that, like, you know, even if you take cover at the right time in the beginning, oh, Emerald Lightning Sun again, as Shellsurf's going to miss. No, so it is long enough if you time it perfectly, apparently. So it does just travel a little too fast, but you can still see it was relatively close to still hitting him on the back end. So Bubbles is going to have to be relatively careful in this mid lane. Gemini putting the Frost Breath, or the Twin Breath, excuse me, onto Keeper, but he doesn't care too much. A little too tanky. Keeper is level 5, doing pretty well, 17 and 2 compared to a 22 and 4 Gemini. So Gemini certainly winning this lane as he well should, but Zane on this Keeper doing just fine. 250 gold per minute is third on his team, actually, as Parasite's going to come in. Not going to be nearly, oh, it is going to be enough. Nice Twin Fangs, going to grab the stun, and Parasite actually didn't even get leeched. He did, excuse me. Luna has a haste, looking for somebody in the jungle, going to get Engie with a power throw as the Wolves just chase him down, trying to do as much damage as possible, knock off that pot. Extremely annoying Keeper Wolves. Or, Keeper Wolves, yes. Warbeast Wolves. In the meantime, Imboy's fallen down a little bit, actually, below Gemini on the GPM chart, as both of them have a kill, but Gemini's creep for him a little better, as Death Growl goes down again, man. Taking the Lightning and the Storm Blades, they're just to take cover and the Shell Surf, but not enough. So, good pick-off, and this mid-dual lane is a bit of a problem for Bubbles. Anyway, so the CS battle being won here by Gemini, 28 and 4 compared to a 21 and 14 Moon Queen, so that's where the extra GPM is coming from. But of course, Ravener at 2 and 0, he's at 400 gold per minute, and Bubbles lagging very far behind, 87 GPM lowest in the game. So, all of a sudden, not a great start here for a reason. They're down by 1.6k gold and nearly 2,000 experience. Really a bit of an issue. And it's got nothing more to do than, you know, a couple of kills, a couple of missed engagements there by Bubbles in the middle lane, using the Shell Serpent a little too aggressively, and in other situations just getting caught out and there being too much stun and damage on the side of Hellborn. So Parasite going to come in here with a Wild Hunter. He is level 6, so there goes the Face Hug on top of the power throw. Bubbles is going to take cover, but he eats the Ball Lightning once again, and that's Zergo's second kill now, I guess. Luna got one. Yes. But he does now skyrocket to 440 gold per minute. Because he's actually done quite well in the CS battle, hasn't he? 36 and 7. So just behind his teammate Gemini in terms of CS. But bot tower will get pushed in here with the Tempest Elementals doing plenty of damage. Moon Queen trying to work out the wolves, make sure that they do as little as possible. She has level 1 bounce there. So that's going to be helping out with the push a little bit. Power Throw coming in to stop the Clarity bot onto Tempest, and these Elementals will die before this tower gets pushed in, but Imbuoy cleaning up some farm on the wave. And elementals once more, and now this is going to be a dead tower. The question is it going to get denied? And, oh, now Luna's in some trouble. Power throw actually onto Moon Queen. She's going to fall lightning and die before the keg can even land, so that's basically what happens. The keg has too long a travel time. No mana for the ultimate on Tempest, as Warbeast is coming in for him. He'll die. So, good play there from Zergo and Keizu on Rav and Warbeast. So yeah, that's one of the issues with Engineer, and I believe they changed that so his keg has a longer travel time, and you could tell really, like, it was a good keg and it hit a bunch of heroes, but it just stayed in the air for like a whole second, and that was plenty of time for Moon Queen to get bursted down and eventually die, which not a good thing. Moon Queen needs that, doesn't need that early game, good early game, but she likes it. Pew actually dying to a solo keeper. Sorry, no, it was not. Actually gets taken out by Imboboy. Excuse, for some reason I thought that was keeper. No, that was Imboboy with Moonbeam. So, good rotation there, and they're now going to take top tower, so they're pretty damn interested in pushing, and you can understand why. Moon Queen, Keeper, Tempest, even Bubbles to some extent, all strong push heroes, and they have the ability to just take towers down once they get grouped up. So 4 heroes here from the Legion side, and this is pretty much gonna be a dead top tower. I don't see too much ability for Hellborn to stop it. Like, I mean, there's no glyph. By the time they even get up here, it's gonna be dead. So the question really is not can they save it, because there it goes, but can they get any kills out of this? And with the Luna and Ravener backing up, it looks like no, they can't. So 8 minutes, 2 towers. That's pretty much what you'd expect from a Keeper Tempest lineup. Double damage here on Keizu, that's going to help him out a little bit in terms of his farm. Yeah, this is not too bad, 29 and 4, so competing fairly well with his fellow Suicide Zane in terms of the CS battle, but of course GPMs are slightly in favor from inflated for the Legion side as they have 2 tower kills, so you know, Bubbles at 177 GPM, that doesn't really reflect a good CS score. Parasite grabbing the Facehawk and the Leech on the Tempest, but the keg comes out and will save Temp, so good play there from NG supporting his buddy, making sure that mean old Parasite doesn't hurt him anymore. Parasite and Tempest, man, they have an abusive relationship. One of them's like, I'm going to take all your move speed and hurt you in the face, and we're just going to be hugged. I mean, and one's like, well, I'm going to trap you in a void of darkness from which you cannot escape until it is over. It's just, it's not good. It's not good for them. Need love. But I don't think they're going to find it. No, certainly not this game. Looks like Legion wants to take another tower here in the middle. Keeper and Tempest once again grouping up. Both of them have ults available. Moon Queen's is down for another 25 seconds. So they could be able to push this in if they really commit to it. There go the Tempest Elementals. And Keeper's up top, though, trying to prevent them from taking top tower, which is relatively low. Parasite going to come into the cannon and do a little more damage with that, actually, you know, of course, increasing its auto attack damage. Mid tower looks like it's going to fall here. Power Throw coming out, try to stop the Elementals a little bit, but there isn't too much Hellborn can do here, although Legion's really afraid of that Ravener, so Zergo doing a good job keeping everybody's buttholes in check. I don't know why I said that. I can't take it back now. On bottom, meanwhile, Engineer going to get caught out by this ulted Warbeast, and this is going to be a dead NG. Now the question is, will Warbeast get out of this? Does he have enough time left on the ulti? Yeah, plenty. So, Keizu finding Engineer there. Relatively easy kill, of course, as Tilla has no boots and no items except for a port. That port is not going to help you with Warbeast. If you stand there without moving for 3 seconds, he's going to kill you. But now Warbeast is in some trouble. There's the ultimate from Moon Queen. Gonna hit him, and not gonna be enough, actually, as he gets stunned out by an Emerald Red Lightning. Some bad luck there a little bit, because he did get the bounces absorbed by other creeps. But Warbeast has minions, so that helps. And I'm not really sure if they should be mad about that. I don't think that was really a guaranteed kill by any means. It was going to take a little good luck in order to get it. Gemini knocks up here, free farming, 370 gold per minute. Of course, 0, 0, and 1. Not quite as helped out by hero kills as Zergo is on that Ravener, and as a result he is slightly lower farm. But Imboboy right there with him, and actually Imboboy's... No, there goes the Legion Tower. Imboboy's kill score is substantially worse than Gemini's, but I believe. Not 2-1-0, so not really. And of course the tower gold actually helping out quite a bit, so once again Nox taking the lead in terms of the CS. Ball Lightning going to connect onto Engineer, and the power throw will finish him off. Kelpfield does essentially nothing there. Dust of Revelation coming out. Gonna spot Keeper and Tempest. We'll see if either of them can get their ultimate off. Nature's Veil and Eluna's going to be in some trouble here, but will survive. Instead, Saint Rox is going to go down, as well as Imboboy with the Leech, and I believe Codex there for Parasite. No, not quite. Doesn't have it. Nature's Veil, but Dust of Revelation and Keeper is now going to be spotted. Gemini splits up into the dogs, grabbing both the stuns. Leech on top of that, and Nox will pick up the kill. 3 kills, really. Eluna does get picked off up here as Deathgrowl finds him, but that is small consolation for a Legion team that just lost 4 of their heroes and gave up a hat trick to their team's carry. So Nox now says, well, you know, those kills and stuff that you had, Zergo, I've got some of them of my own, and I'm now sitting at 475 gold per minute. And here's the point where Gemini farms not quite as fast as Moon Queen, but who cares, because that hero is amazing, and it just wrecks stuff. So he will recombine here in the well and energize away. Bot tower getting pushed a little bit by Warbeast and his minions, but not enough to warrant serious action here from the Legion side, and he will be chased off relatively quickly, using them to farm in the jungle. Definitely a good tactic there, of course. Picking off pre-kills any way you can. Mid lane, once again, going to be slightly pressured, and this time Legion doesn't seem too interested in defending this tower, so if Hellborn want to commit a couple heroes here, actually, as top Bubbles goes down to just Gemini, as he will be in the side. Twin Fangs, there it is, split up, and hit both their stuns. Because that kid has 3 stuns. So, because that, I mean, that just makes sense, right? Like, it makes sense that Twin Fangs and the individual stuns that replace Twin Fangs when you split up are not on shared cooldowns. Because, why not give a hero 3 stuns? Just saying. Well, 3, that's not fair, actually, because he has 3 stuns and 2 slows and 2... and then dot damage and then a nuke, also. And he can get to, like, haste move speed with no boots, if he stacks enough agi. I'm just saying, it seems balanced to me. It's just bright. And he can take, like, a bunch of damage and just completely heal it back by using his ultimate. Again. What I'm saying is, my point, it seems balanced. And it takes a ton of coordination to kill him because of the ability to get out of the places with Twin Fangs and Split. Ball Lightning not going to hit as Take Cover goes off. So Rav showing off that new portal key, trying to grab a kill into the Death Corral here, but not going to be successful. And yes, I understand the irony of saying Moon Queen is overpowered earlier, and I do believe she is. She needs some nerfs. And Gemini's overpowered here, so in this situation, overpowered versus overpowered, and you get a wash, which is definitely true. Both of these heroes can win this game. They can out-carry the other. They're relatively even as carries, but... you know, then you're like, Silhouette! It's like, what are you going to do against Gemini for Silhouette? What are you going to do against Moon Queen for Silhouette? Split up, your illusion eats a couple of bounces, and then that does nothing. So his ult wins, because it eats yours and does damage on top of it. It's like, okay. Anyway... get to work, S2, I think is my point. I think that there are problems with this game, and I'm right about them. Twin Fangs onto Engineer, he will hit the keg stun, but that's not going to be nearly enough, as Nox just no problems picking him off. And Tilla, man, oh, that hurts. It's got a wards and a mana battery. 97 gold per minute, oh my god, man, 0-3 and 1, just... This is a suffer game. 2 CS. My man. I feel for him. I've been in that position many a time. Just like, I'm getting the wards, you guys. I'm getting the wards. Carry me. Help. In middle, looks like we got some initiation. An invisible Parasite actually is able to take the ball lightning some, but too much support. Tempest is going to block him in here. S2's his way over the cliff and doesn't take the kelp field. Get to work, S2. I'm sorry, it's extremely funny that I've been complaining about balance for half this game. Not half, that's a little fair, but, and then he just S2's his way up the cliff. That's reasonably funny, I think. Parasite looking for a kill on the Moon Queen, and if he gets any support, he'll find one. He does have that Codex, I believe it's still level 1. Yep. Trying to burst him down. Is he going to get it? Not quite. He literally had 15 health, so. Honestly, if he chased a little more, he might have had the last hit there. Glacial Blasts were coming in from Tempest, but he stole the Infest, so he probably could have gotten away. Face-Up was lasting for long enough, I think, that MQ would have had some issues there, especially with the fog that could come out when he jumps into the jungle. And yeah, that could have been positive for Parasite. But it's hard to, really question the decision to be like, look, I did a bunch of burst damage, forced her out of the jungle. She can't farm now. She has to go back to base, and I didn't give her a kill in the meantime. So I'm not really opposing that decision from Pew so much as saying I think he had a kill possibility there. If he'd been a little more aggressive, might have been able to get it. He also might have died. So it's pretty clear that xCet's, in reasonable control of the game at this point. I think they're at 10k, really 11k gold lead and 12.5k experience lead. On bot, Warbeast has infested this Hellhound, and combo on the Moon Queen. She takes substantial less damage as she has Vestments now, but Warbeast is in his ulti form, and that's dead. So Imbiboy gonna fall here. Response coming in from the Legion side pretty much as soon as Imbiboy got initiated on, but just nobody anywhere close enough.
The Hellborn destroyed a Legion tower.
Hellborn tower gets a tower in middle finally, as it took him a while just refusing to fully commit to that. And again, I understand that it's a relatively safe play. You don't have too much vision around there, especially in mid, and you'd like to make sure that you don't die while you're taking that tower. DD Ravener going to clean up the creep wave very easily, and Warbeast, I believe, going to find the. I thought he found the Tempest. In fact, Ball Lightning to go down to the Tempest with the Stormblades and the DD. He in some trouble. Tempest ultimate also going to come out, but Face-Hug will cancel it pretty much immediately. Kegs down onto Ravener. He's got plenty of life, though, especially with that power supply, and he'll port away. So, Saint Rock's unfortunately running into a DD'd Ravener with 450 gold per minute, and that does tend to be your death. Keeper, meanwhile, going to look for Keizu in the jungle. Not going to find him. Keizu actually level 14, so doing extremely well on levels. Second highest experience per minute in the game, just behind Gemini. Well, a lot behind Gemini, really. We can see a root from Keeper. Yes, there we are. Here's the ultimate from Moon Queen, and this is finally going to be a dead Warbeast. Finally able to lock him down enough to kill him, even with the Hellhounds eating a bunch of that Moon Queen ult damage. They still do pick him off, so Keizu getting a little too aggressive there, farming the Legion jungle. But, we'll see. I mean, it's just, once again, I think that's a play that's too terrible to make. When you're up by this much, taking resources away from the Moon Queen, always a good idea. Usually Warbeast can get out of situations like that because of his ultimate. And the other problem, of course, is you have 3 other heroes on your team who are competing for farm. So in that type of situation, you can't always just take the safe farm. Sometimes you have to get a little aggressive and hope for the best, because there just aren't other places for you to farm, and it's more important Gemini gets it. So Gemini going to miss the Twin Fangs, but Tilla going to get comboed by Parasite. He's going to fall. Energizer on top of Gemini, and Gemini's in a ton of trouble. Glacial Blast will allow them to finish him off. So slightly poor initiation there from Nox. Not hitting that Twin Fangs was a big issue. I'm thinking he probably should have split up to begin with in order to put a bunch of damage onto one dog, recombine, and then basically get it wiped. or they would have to focus both dogs, and then since there is a lot of single target damage here, you know, with the right-click auto attacks, hopefully he could have lived for a little longer, allowed his team to get in there, and provide some counter initiation, especially Ravener with that portal key can get in there from relatively far away. So minor setback here from Gemini, who is at XP per minute, 530 gold per minute, and that's going to drop a little bit as he sits dead, but he's still out farming this Moon Queen by quite a large margin. MQ sitting just under 400 GPM, and usually you like to see MQ quite a bit higher than that at this point in the game.
Hot streak.
As Tilla will fall once again. Poor
Hot streak.
Warbeast Wolf, yep, invisible, and Engineer's like, I can't do anything about that.
Hot streak.
So we saw that killed 3 times. It's very important. Well, actually we saw it twice, we heard it 3 times. But, you know, option 1 is to just ignore it, option 2 is hit the back button a couple times, we can actually watch them die, so. That's more fun to me, I like to watch things die. Don't give me your home address. Anyway, Kongor's clearly going down here. As for, well, 3.5, I guess, heroes. 3.6, that's 60% of Gemini. 3.6 heroes from the Hellborn side will come in to take Kongor down, and he will go down relatively quickly. The Ice Dog farming up top, and, you know, that's really part of the thing that's going to massively contribute to Gemini's experience lead. He does bring the second dog in here, but his ability to farm 2 places at one time just makes him level super fast. And Tilla's just gonna die again. Jeez, Parasite, man, that's just mean. Warbeast Wolf coming in once again. They can't see him. He is invisible. Now he's dead. And just Pew, you have no manners. Dude has boots at least, but like, come on now. It's mean. It's getting mean. Don't think that Tilla wants to play this game anymore of, I cannot be anywhere even with teammates because you will just kill me. I don't know what to do about that besides buy a Bound Ally, which he obviously can't do. He just doesn't have a farm. And to be honest, nobody on his team should be using their money on it. You know, Rev Wards aren't going to be too helpful. They expire relatively quickly, and you can't just sit in a Rev Ward the whole damn game. So, I mean, I think Tilla's now at the point where he's like, I'm just going to hang out near this Moon Queen because I'm a level 6. Gemini's level 17. Like, the point here is Pew is mean, and Tilla does not like him, I don't think, because he is a bad person.
Is it too hot
Oh,
for
well,
you?
not like Bubbles likes him either. There's a combo.
Is it too hot for you?
See, the problem with that is I miss that every time because they die in like a second, so I don't just want to stun on Parasite the whole game. There's pushes happening here with Glacial Blasts onto Warbeast plus the Moonbeam. He's going to back the hell out, but won't be any real danger. Still has the Shrunken Head, still has that ultimate. I neglected to mention token on Gemini. Of course, you can see that to the side, but also it's probably not worth mentioning because, duh, who else would get it? I don't know, this feels like a weird cast to me. I just feel strange mindset right now. Keeper gonna throw the Nature's Veil up. Very good decision because both Warbeast and Gemini are hanging out looking for him. Parasite coming in as well, gonna find the illusion and kill it. That would have been funny if Parasite actually, I bet Parasite probably couldn't even combo it because the Facehug and Leech would probably do like enough damage to kill it without even using the Codex.
The Hellborn have destroyed
Sustainer
a
on
tower.
Keeper of the Forest. Nulls? No, that's sorry, Resto Stone. What am I even thinking? Like, why would he be getting a Null Stone? Just for Parasite? That doesn't make any sense. But no, obviously that is going to be the Resto Stone. Legion side, relatively hard up for farm here. Emboy sitting at 424 GPM, which is fine, but not great. At 25 minutes, you usually expect Moon Queen to be really hitting that 500 GPM mark and surpassing it. So he's a little below where a Moon Queen would normally be, but 420 GPM is just really not that bad. So not too much to complain about. More worrisome, I think, really is his bubbles at 220. Like, he just got destroyed middle lane, really, and he's gotten picked up a few times since then. Has not been able to find the farm, especially with having to compete for it with Moon Queen, Keeper, and Tempest, all of whom farm much faster than he does. So they're clearing camps like crazy, and he's sitting off trying to do something. Parasite in the Wolf once again, gonna get actually ult on War Beast as the everything ultimate goes down in order to kill him. So 3 heroes dropping large cooldowns there in order to take down War Beast, and they will get the kill. On the other hand, you know, they dropped 3 ultimates to kill War Beast, and you kind of had to question whether that made any sense. Kill's a kill, and they just sort of have to make sure that they're not going to fight for the next minute and a half. But it doesn't seem like Hellborn's interested in that decision as KZU buys back and says, now your ultimates are all down, and we're going to take your base.
The Hellborn have destroyed
As
a
I
Legion
presume that is
tower.
exactly what they're going to do. Parasite is leveling up that codex. We've seen more of this recently. Level 4 codex on Parasite. It used to be Parasite, Fade. They didn't level those codexes. Jumps in with Song of Sea and Shell Surf on Bubbles just for some harassment. Not going to end up doing anything. Gemini splits up. Jumps onto Bubbles actually with 1 stun. And there goes Death Growl with the codex. So, bye. Shrunken Head used onto Ravener, and so he's not going to have it available from now on. But, we'll see. Gemini takes the Moonbeam and decides, acts like they're going to back off, maybe just take the Ancients and reinitiate, or maybe not even do that. Maybe they'll just come straight back, fake the buy, the B, and no, they will not. In fact, they are truly leaving, deciding that, I guess, the Codex cooldown and the Shrunken Head really on Ravener being a much bigger one, obviously. Too much, they don't want to fight here. So, nice counter warding here from Tilla, poor guy, doesn't have any money, dies a bunch thanks to that mean old Parasite, and is still laying down counter wards. That's a team player right there. Good man. You could be sitting there thinking, you know, I need Striders, or I need Phase Boots, or I need Steam Boots, or Mystic Vestments, so this stupid Parasite isn't just killing me all the time. But no, he says, it's more important we maintain control of the map. Get that Moon Queen some farm. I believe in you, my boy, so now you have to. Once again, Bubbles falling. There it is. It's just stupid Warbeast. That wasn't even a Warbeast Wolf. And for some reason that's enough to get the entire Legion side to back out. So Ultra back on both Moon Queen and Engineer. Of course, they did lose a mid tower and got most of the damage here on the base tower for it. They also did use a buyback on KZU, so that's relevant. Then again, you know, KZU used a lot of that time to farm. He's at 414 gold per minute, so yep. Nearly up with that Moon Queen, who is of course surpassed by both Gemini and Ravener. And not only gold, but now levels by Gemini by a substantial amount. She is out-leveling the Rab just barely, and the Warbeast, excuse me. So last tower here for the Legion side looks like it's going to be taken down by Hellborn relatively fast. Of course, Warbeast, a great pusher at this stage in the game, just does a ton of damage to buildings with his wolves. Gonna jump in here with the Ball Lightning on Ravener, but nothing is going to be hit by it. Meanwhile, Parasite looking for a pickoff will find Engineer. He will get the energy field out, but not even gonna need the leech there. Root onto Keeper as 3 take the Tempest ultimate here, but immediately sent out by Luna. Moon Queen ultimate going off as well. Damage is extremely split actually as 3 Shrunken Heads go off, so nobody's take damage there. Power Throw will finish off Keeper as Tempest died as well. So apparently Face Hug Codex is enough to kill Engineer at this point. Not that surprising. Codex does 800 magic damage, and Engineer has 750 health. Kill going off onto a bunch here, but he will take the Codex, that's most of his health. Ball Lightning and the Twin Fangs actually can take the Kelp Field Sun and Gemini. And the Power Throw will finish off Bubbles, so good Kelp Field there. The problem was he had no team. Racks go down in the middle for the Legion, and I sort of expect to see the CC vote relatively soon. You know, Moon Queen can certainly carry. The issue is that she probably can't carry this just because Gemini is one of the few heroes that can actually stand up to a fully farmed Moon Queen and kill her. And at this point, Gemini is going to be fully farmed much quicker than MQ is, so... my opinion, let's move it to a game 3. You fought valiantly. Did have some issues in the early game, particularly on middle. Did pretty well on bot, not quite as well as Gemini did, but, you know, move it to a game 3, I think, at this point. It's not really worth turtling this out. I know...
like it.
Oh,
Someone likes to get spanked.
Tilla. Let's watch him. Let's watch him die. Oh, there's Parasite. I wonder what he's gonna do.
I like it.
Not even needing that leech.
Someone likes to get spanked.
This is the problem, of course. Parasite, when he's in the wolf, he's just a dot, so you can't see him on the mini-map. So at least, like, if I could see him running around, I could... Oh, he's near Tilla. He's gonna kill Tilla. I'm gonna grab that. No. Anyway. So I just don't see a way back into this for the Legion side. There is always the hope. You get the God Hole, and all of a sudden all the ults go off together, and you're like, that's what we were waiting for, and now we can push like crazy because we have Keeper Tempest and Moon Queen and Bubbles, and we can just clear creep waves, we can destroy buildings so fast. And Bubbles gonna be some trouble here. Energizer and the Twin Breath, plus the Shelter was already used, so poor Death Growl in middle. Meanwhile, Amy White gonna get picked off by Zergo alone, really. Nope, there's, sorry, excuse me, Pew did a lot of damage there. Didn't use the leech, though. Could have used it. Could have killed that Main Queen with a leech, and then Zergo wouldn't have gotten a kill. And then you'd be on a Bloodbath, Pew. So, how do you feel about your decisions now? Huh? You like where you are? You like who you are? Do you? He probably does. I think he's probably okay with it. Up top, gonna see a push here. Ravener gonna take a bunch of damage and apply it to the tower. See how I turned that around? I almost said the wrong thing. Top Rack's also going to go down as MQ's dead for 35 seconds. I don't believe she has a buyback. No buyback for... Yep, and there it is. So, that game was, I think, well laned by both sides, well drafted by both sides. The issue was sort of mid lane was lost, and what a surprise, the team that lost mid lost the game. The other issue, though, to address, I think, really, is that Gemini sort of won his lane harder than Moon Queen won hers. Did better in the CS battle, and didn't pick up any more kills, but that was really the difference. Got that GPM up really high, a little faster, was able to get that Dom Ringer, was able to turn a high early GPM into a high late GPM, etc. So, I think it's, you know, sometimes not just about losing your lane, but how hard you win a lane. And in this situation, I think the fact that Gemini won his lane a little bit harder than Moon Queen did played a lot into the outcome. And then, of course, there was the Ravener that just wrecked mid. That also mattered a little bit, too. And Pew just eating Tilla for breakfast. But small things, you know. So, anyway, that's it for Game 2, and let's move it on to a Game 3.